These are always the best.
I know. I was tempted to do this, but then I was like, put my hands down and just.
I know I do this too often. I don't know. It's like such a habit now. Hi everyone, and welcome to anyone who is catching up on this. Thank you for coming to watch and showing interest in you all know Nicole, but she is the newest shiny addition to the yoga department, as I like to call it. And so thank you for jumping on. Please, even though if you're watching this on catch up, leave any comments, any questions you might have. We'll keep a little eye on the feed, and I'm sure Nix would be happy to get back to you. 100%. How are you today, Nix?
I'm good. I'm cold, but I'm good. How are you, Kathleen?
I'm good. I'm cold, but I'm good.
I'm excited to dive in a little bit here. Get to know you.
I know. No, it's I was saying actually, so for those of you who don't know, we have an amazing magician called Henny who works behind the scenes, and Henny kind of makes all our streams run, and he's the tech guy, and he's just and I was saying to him, I can't believe we're in the middle of June and July, and he's like, I can't believe we're in the middle of the year. And that's exactly where we are. So that was a little bit of a scary thought. But it is what it is. Yeah.
100%. That is quite
I feel like it was just the other day when we were like
almost doing like the 25-hour workout and stuff. Like that's literally.
All right, I'm gonna try find our link here quick.
Good. Hi, Pat.
We might be lagging a bit from each other next.
Can you hear me? All good.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. I think we just do a little lag every now and then, but that's fine because you're going to be doing some chatting now. There we go. I'm just going to check to say hi to everyone. Welcome, everybody. We'll give it about another 2 minutes before we get going, just to see if there's anyone else who wants to join. I see my internet actually looks like it's a bit like weird today. It must be the weather. Sorry, everyone. But you can see me and you can hear me, hopefully. Hi, Leslie. Only 100 days to Christmas, Leslie. You can't drop bombs like that. No. That's hectic. That's very hectic.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Sharon, hello. Lisa, Lizelle, Pat, everyone, a big, warm welcome to you all.
Lovely to have you.
Yes.
Guys.
Stoked to have everyone here this afternoon. Amy, thank you for being here with us. Gorgeous. And that takes us to about 35 past. Next, I think we will get going. So Nicole has obviously not done a coach's corner yet. Nicole, actually, I think the best way to start, and I love this question, is how did your and Jeff's lives cross? How did you end up here with us?
Well, I was actually coached by Sari. Well, I used to call her Sarah. So whenever anyone calls her Sari, it's so weird. But she used to be my water polo coach. And kind of, I'd like seen her pop up every now and again, like with all these workouts, especially during lockdown. I saw all this stuff happening and I was like, whoa, like this looks very cool. Like that's very up Sarah's alley. But to be honest, I hadn't even like thought about it. I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. But I was actually working in tourism. I was, doing during lockdown, I don't know if I can say that I was working in tourism, but I was in tourism, which was quite hectic and quite draining because obviously with lockdown and everything, there was nothing happening. So I was kind of working behind the scenes with my company, trying to figure out contingency plans and, oh, sorry, my dog. So it was quite, I'm mediating between the cat and dog at the moment. So it's like, it's a lot. But yeah, I realized that with COVID and stuff, there wasn't like much happening in that side of the world and the industry and everything. And I've always been very active. So like, it just felt like it was a really good fit when I saw like Sarah had Sari, sorry if I get that mixed up today, but she'd actually posted like a little Insta story about like, oh, they're looking for an opening. And I was like, oh, you know what, like some part-time work, might as well. Let me just give it a shot and see what happens. And with some backing from my family and friends, they were like, you have to follow up, like message them, ask them if they got your CV, ask them if they got your message. And Rachel loves to say like, I'm so glad that you rashed me. And I'm like, I'm so glad I rashed you too. I'm not even joking. When I say I messaged every part of the business, I like emailed Rachel, I messaged on Facebook, I messaged on Instagram, I followed up with Sarah because I was like, have you guys gotten my message or my CV? Like, is everything, like, just let me know. And yeah, that's pretty much my little Jeff story of how I came here. Like, but I mean, no regrets, absolutely. Like, I can't actually imagine doing anything else right now.
I know. I can't imagine you anywhere else right now.
I mean, to be honest, like when I was in tourism, it actually fit me quite well because I was interacting with people all day. So I was like taking people around Cape Town. Like my office was, Boulders Beach and seeing the penguins and like, having ostriches walk outside the car door. But in saying that, like actually like this just fits me so much better. Like the Jeff community.
It's amazing. And I mean, you started behind the scenes and then you started as pretty much a workout buddy, which has led you to do some instructing and which has led you to now be one of the yoga instructors. So I think, we've gotten a little bit of your background on the connection, very sporty, joining Jeff, all makes sense. But maybe tell us a little more about your personal journey with wellness and how that tied into you doing your yoga teacher training. I'd love to know, I'm sure everyone would love to know a little more about that.
So, I mean, as you guys know, I'm quite an ADD human. I have a lot of energy. And I got into yoga like probably like 2016, 2017. I only started getting into it then, your mates are doing yoga and whatever. And I was like, that's cool. But I was very into my swimming and like hectic workouts and like a lot of strength. Absolutely like love strength, love all those. And I kind of very, openly went through a bit of a dip in life. And it was really, really tough. Was very anxious. I've always had a little bit of anxiety, but it just kind of hit me very hard. And I needed something to just slow my mind down and just be able to like find that like stillness, which was very difficult, especially when you've lived like so many years of your life being like that energetic, like crazy person. Like that was my like brand almost, I guess. Like that's what I was. Yeah. I was like the crazy person, which I still am and I own and I love it. But there's definitely like, you need to find that balance. And I realized like I kind of, went to a couple of classes and just realized that it was just something that I really felt that not only like it just fed my mind and my soul and my body in a different way that all these other exercises and everything just didn't. So it was a really nice, like, it felt like a complete polar opposite to like the intense workouts that I was doing, and to actually have to sit and be very mindful and like think about and be very conscious about your breath and everything. It just fueled me in a different way, which was really awesome. And I kind of just kept up the practice as much as possible when I was in Stellenbosch and where I studied. And and I've always had this thing in my brain where I was like, I would go Google like courses, like yoga teacher courses. And I'd be like, oh, like, not right now. There was always something stopping me, like, oh, it's quite expensive, or I don't have the time. But it's always been in the back of my mind, like just one of those things that just sat there. And during lockdown last year, as we all know, it was absolutely crazy and not an easy time for anyone. And I was kind of, again, doing the same thing, like just Googling, like, oh, I wonder if there are any online courses. Oh, I wonder if there's this. I wonder if there's that. And I came across this school, literally this online yoga school that was Yoga Alliance accredited and everything, and it was quite well priced. And I was like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I'm not going to. So right there and then, purchased my literally, I didn't even think about it. I was like, okay, let me just go. Let me just do it. I'm in lockdown. There's nothing else to do. Like, now's the time. So I was really lucky to come across that. I mean, again, I'd just been sitting around Googling, and I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world the way it was done. It was quite an interesting process, again, because it was all online, whereas, every other course that had been done is all in person. So it was a completely different dynamic. Sorry, my dog is so upset that the cat has jumped out the window. She thinks something's going to happen to the cat. Sorry.
Are they both in the room together?
No, so the cat just jumped out the window and the dog's like, oh my gosh, she's gone.
Where's my cat?
I'll run outside. Yeah, where's my cat? Where's my toy? Anyway, but
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Shame.
Anyway, just like everything was online. It was like you doing Zoom calls, and so it was like completely different, not something I was used to. And yeah, actually loved it. I mean, don't get me wrong, that in-person training is something, it's so important. But, given the current situation of everything being online, it was quite an interesting way to learn. And again, no regrets. Absolutely love it. And I mean, it was so weird because when I applied for Jeff, I remember telling Rachel and like being quite adamant, because in my mind, I was like, well, now I'm going to teach yoga. Like, now that's what I'm going to do. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to start at the bottom. So, because I was like, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to work my way to where I want to be. Like, I see where
we're here.
Yeah, you're literally. So I saw like where I wanted to be, and I was like, I can add value there, but I'm going to start where I can. Like, whatever entrance I get, I'm going to go in. And in my first interview with Rachel, I was like, I have my yoga teacher, like I have it. Like, I can help. I can. And, I was new, so wasn't really thought about. And then when I saw this little gap, I was like, a month ago or so, I was like, maybe I should just mention it again and just see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of my training and my little yoga story.
That's a great segue. I want to use that to kind of, I guess we can tie it in a little bit with your training. And I think, just to ask, like, what's your favorite pose, or what was your favorite part of your training, or, when you're on your mat? I know obviously most of the people here know that you're teaching the vinyasa, which is stronger than I teach the beginner section. The intermediate might be a little stronger, but it's stronger in the sense that it's faster, it's more breath to movement. So I'm assuming that's something that you really love. And I think we've all seen that with you in your workouts as well. Like, that's your vibe, is higher energy, more movement, more flow. But if you had to kind of pick a specific pose or a specific movement or a specific practice, what do you think it would be and why?
So I actually think my favorite pose would be child's pose, because again, I absolutely, and like I love it because, again, I'm very high energy. That's just how I am. I'm ADD. We know this, but it's such an awesome way to just to ground yourself and set yourself up for this practice, and actually just be come back to your breath. I think it's such an awesome way to start, because if you start in like a very high energy, for me at least, then I feel like I'm quite manic throughout my practice. Like, I find if I sit and I have that child's pose and I just take a moment to connect myself to my breath and my mat for a moment, I'm like, I really set myself up for an awesome flow, which is, I mean, again, I do the vinyasa, so it is high energy and everything, but I think starting off like that, where you can just connect, is something special. Like, I always like to start in child's pose. It just very calming and nurturing, and just yeah, so that would be my favorite.
I don't know if you've seen that little meme that's kind of it's quite new, where it's like, you know, when they usually the yoga poses in a sequence, and then it's just someone like that starts in like Tadasana, and then every pose thereafter is child's pose, and it's like, that's my favorite yoga practice.
My favorite
but
flow.
I mean, and that's my favorite flow is child's pose, child's pose, child's pose. But before we move on to kind of what I want to ask you to dive into next, I just want to ask everyone who's here, who's watching, if you've ever had a question for Nicole, now is your time to ask. We've got her for another like 10 minutes or so. So if you want to know where she's from, what's her favorite workout move, what's her favorite rehab move, or whatever it is, please drop your questions in the comments so we can have a look at those. I see we've got a few comments here. Sharon says, we love Nicole to bits. The banter between her and Louis is real cool. Pat says, your body is so flexible, Nicole. Yes, we know that. Mark Greenfield says, afternoon, Nicole and Kathleen. Only started doing yoga 2 years ago. Adding some Pilates and yoga sessions to my training routine has been very beneficial. Can't do some of the moves, but keep getting stronger. Amazing, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing that.
That's awesome.
I think Nicole will agree that it's you know, it takes time and it takes dedication and it takes showing up. Like, you know, Nicole, you as an athlete growing up, you know, the only way that you start to progress through things is by full dedication and by sticking with
100%. 100%. And I think people like can get quite impatient. At least I'm one person that can also, like, you know, you're also seeing. But it just takes time and practice.
Okay, so we're gonna go into I want to ask you, for everyone here, you know, we are going through quite a hectic time. There's a lot going on. People need their practice to like you said, why you got into yoga is to hold yourself together, and to draw yourself back to yourself, pull yourself towards yourself, and to connect to your breath. So what are and it doesn't have to be yoga necessarily, but what are your 3 kind of self-care tips, maybe in and around the home even, that you feel you can't go without, and that have kept you going, especially through last year when it was COVID? Well, we're still in COVID, but, you know, deep lockdown, etc.
Yeah. I mean, during deep lockdown, I struggled, like, I think as everyone did, and I actually lost that routine and lost those things that like hold myself towards myself. But at the moment, and then, you know, started Jeff, and it really just absolutely flourished. But I mean, 3, for me, it is moving my body 100%. So whether that be yoga or doing a workout, you know, I'm very lucky that I have the opportunity every day to move my body for this incredible community. Like it's and inspire and do what I'm so lucky. And for me, that actually, it's a version of self-care for myself, because it feels like I'm not only fueling my mind and my body and my soul, but I'm also helping you guys. And that's self-care for me too, because, you know, I get to help, and that's very important to me. And then I would say getting outside, very important to me every day, taking my dog for a walk, turning my phone off, not putting it away and just going for a walk and just being out. I like to say I'm a little sunflower or a plant. I don't like the cold. I don't like winter. I don't like rain. I want the sun. So for me, just nature, just getting out is so important. And turning everything off, turning all that social media. It's so easy to get distracted and, you know, have this constant ping, 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 messages, but to actually just turn off and go for a walk and take my dog and just, you know, check in with myself. That was actually my third one, is just checking in with myself and having those conversations of being like, how am I actually? And for me, like that part is something that's really important to me. And my self-care is I wake up quite early, because I find those quiet moments in the morning are like the most peaceful, and there isn't a lot of noise. And I've never been one to journal, ever. I have too much of an internal dialogue that goes on. I have too many conversations with myself in my head. But I find it very important. So I wake up at 4:35, and I have at least an hour of just sitting with myself and being like, how am I? Like, am I okay? If I want to listen to a podcast that I feel like resonates with me on that day, or, in my state, it really fuels me, and it sets me up for a really good day. Mm-hmm. So that for me is a really important, like, self-care moment, if you will. Sure, those are probably my top three.
I think, and I think those are accessible for most people, is to create that extra little bit of time. I know a lot of people will say, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. And my sister and I have a joke, because there's like a meme that says, everyone has the same hours in a day as Beyonce does. So what are you doing with your time? And we always have a laugh, because we're like, yeah, but I don't have. But I don't have her PAs and her whatever. So, she's got a lot of hours, but she's also got a lot of support. So it's not like exactly the truth. But if you do play around with that in your mind and realize that it is in your control, and to make a plan. And for me, I know that to get up earlier is going to be more beneficial than to expect myself to do something later on in the day. That might be different for everyone, but I love that's, getting up first thing in the morning before you've been polluted is a strong word, but before anything else pollutes your energy. Yeah, before anything else pollutes your energy, you've already connected to your own energy, and you're like strong and ready to go and like step forward. So
I think a good way to think about it, and I remember seeing this meme that was like, you have like a little battery, and when you wake up and the first thing you do is turn on your phone and look at it, you start to deplete it. Just like a cell phone, actually. Like, you just start to deplete that battery, because you're putting energy into things that aren't going to fuel you. Like, how is checking Instagram at 5 o'clock in the morning going to do anything for me? Like, I think it's so important to just keep that battery full for as long as possible, checking in and just making sure that you are okay.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself, guys. It is really, and we aren't, no one is perfect. None of us are perfect, but it is, and we've been doing this for quite a long time now, where it eventually, you start doing something and it's like this action, and it takes a lot of grit, and it takes a lot of discipline, and eventually the discipline can fall away, because it just becomes a ritual and a habit. And so, I get up at 5:30 every morning. My class is at 7, but I've got to drive to get where I need to be. And I think to myself, like, oh my goodness, what if my class was like a 6 a.m. class, But the people who teach the 6 a.m.s, they just get up and do it because that's what they do. That's, their routine. So thanks for sharing those, Nix. I think those are like super, super valuable. And so anyone, even if you can't get outside, you can get a spot of sunlight in your window, be like a little cat or pot plant in the window and grab some sun.
Yeah, there you go. You can always make
and then just for everyone who's on here, you can take the 5th, Nicole. There's an elephant in the room, because there's like, the question has been asked like 5 times. So you're welcome to take the 5th, and then we'll move on.
Oh, guys, we're going on to the next question. We don't have time for frivolous questions like that. I don't even understand what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My comments aren't coming up. I can't see anything.
This is a professional podcast, everyone.
Exactly. Come, we focus here.
Focus. We're talking about wellness.
I know, we're talking about me, guys. Come on.
We're talking about yoga and Nicole. You guys are so funny. Maybe if you send Nicole a private message after this chat, she'll get back to you. Then Mark Greenfield has also said, Nicole, you have got so much stronger since I started joining the Lion Alliance sessions. Well done. And then I guess my question would be to you, what do you think has been the main component mentally and physically? So what are the two things you've done mentally and physically that you feel has grown your own practice in the workout sessions? And how do you feel like, in what way are you going to bring that to your vinyasa classes?
Mentally and physically. I mean, I'm very lucky again that I can do my strength sessions. Like it's the balance between the two, which Kathy kind of messaged me earlier, and I was like, I love that it all can come together. I love that the strength sessions can help me in my vinyasa and my flow. I love that, like, my vinyasa and the flow can help me in my strength sessions with my mobility and my movement and my endurance. Like, even mentally, with the strength, you are pushing your mind and body quite hard, and to then be able to kind of use that but in a different way in yoga, I think is so beneficial. Like, I mean, you're using different muscles not different muscles, you're using like fast twitch movements for your high impact and your strength. We're using like slow twitch for your yoga, where you're holding things a little bit more controlled. And like, to kind of combine those two has been, I don't want to say magical, but it's been pretty magical.
Yeah, magic and fun and awesome.
No, 100%. And like, it really, like, they just complement each other really well for me, and it works really well for me. Like, it makes me, feel more mindful. For example, like, yoga, it's very mindful movement. You want to be very conscious, and that's now resonating in my strength. I'm going, okay, flip, I'm doing bicep crawls. Like, I'm thinking about each muscle that's moving, and I'm thinking about my breath, which is so important. I found that my breathing in everything has become so much better. Like, even, in the strength, every movement I'm breathing out loud, because it's now become more of a habit, and it's from yoga and everything, which is awesome. I think people forget to breathe a lot, and you forget how much breath obviously helps with everything. It's life. But the other thing is, like, believe it or not, but I mean, I just feel like it helps me with my energy and my power, and I just feel like I said, that it's the balance. Like, I think they complement each other very well. So like, I really try and bring that to my yoga, and being like, thinking of the breath and thinking of each muscle that's moving. And it's something that stuck with me at the 12-hour workout. You said, every time you move a muscle, or when you're thinking of a muscle, I want you to think of it glowing, so that by the end of the practice, your body is glowing. And that's like really stuck with me. And I think about it every time I do yoga now, because I'm like, I want my body to glow. I want to be mindful of each muscle that I'm moving, and how, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling like. And I loved that analogy. Loved it. It's really stuck. But yeah, I just think they complement each other really well. The like strength, the HIIT, the yoga, like it's quite nice to feel a little bit more three-dimensional in a way. Like, I think people thought that I was like, well, obviously I am, like I've said, very high energy, ADD, like I'm a little bit crazy, a little bit weird. I love it. Exactly. And like, to have that other side that's like a little bit more still. Like, I can feel myself moving my hands quite a bit now as well, but I'm trying to be more conscious of like holding it in a bit. And like, guys, literally, can I just take a moment? Before I started, when Kathleen we had a little chat, and she was like, you must just sit. And I was like, okay. Just gonna put my hands away. But yeah, so
I said to Nicole, I was like, I was like, Nicole, you are allowed to teach the yoga, but then you have to slow it all down. And the thing is, like, it's so great to have that kind of relationship with everyone we work with in the company, because I know, and everyone here has seen me do a live HIIT workout, which was a flippin' joke, but I did it. And I had people going like, come on, Kathleen, like, move a little faster, girl, jump a little higher, and so you need those dynamics from the people around you, but I think more importantly, you need that dynamic within yourself. And so I absolutely love that you have this strength, Nicole, that people can go to really push them. And then they can also come to the vinyasa, which will be strong as well, but it will be taught in a very different way. And you are so multidimensional. I mean, we've got so many comments here. I know people keep calling you crazy, but I think that it's the biggest compliment, because you are, I think, more like you're so real. I think the word is real more than crazy.
I try
and
to be
just full of energy.
I've learned, like, I realize, I mean, I used to, you want to try and please everyone and be someone that people think you should be. And I must be honest, like, with Jeff, no one knew who I was when I entered the company, which was actually fantastic, because I just was my complete, authentic, real self in every way, because I didn't feel like anyone had a preconceived idea of me. So if anything, like joining this company and joining Jeff and now this yoga and everything, it's made me feel more comfortable in myself, because I wasn't trying to be someone I'm not. So I feel very lucky to have been able to enter space.
Oh, Nick, well, I mean, I love you. We love you. We've got some awesome comments here. Nancy says, crazy is good because it's fun crazy. She says the vinyasa is fast, but also keep in mind that I teach very slowly. Yeah, and thank you everyone for checking in, guys. Nick, thank you for your time and for being here. It's been really so cool to chat to you. And you're joining the yoga squad. So if you guys want to chat more with Nicole or myself, join our WhatsApp group. There's always little chit chats going on there. And other than that, I'll be teaching beginner strength tomorrow. You can catch Nicole every Monday morning at 7 a.m. And if you've got any questions left, please leave them in the comments here, and we will have a look back at them and get back to you. And thank you for joining, everyone. Do you want to close us off, Nicole?
Well, guys, it's been lovely diving into Nicole here. But yeah, please, guys, it's been such an incredible, like, it's been really nice just to talk, to be honest, like, and just kind of open up a little bit more to you guys and get, let you know a little bit more about me and my journey. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything, please just put them in the comments. I won't be shy. Ooh, AirPods coming out. On that note, guys, it's been real.
Thank you, everyone. That's a wrap. Have a beautiful day. Bye.